and I eventually realized that speaking from experience, regardless of its similarity to other speeches, can always provide a different perspective. If you've grown up playing sports, like many of us have, you'd be among the luckiest of individuals to not have experienced failure in your sport. I use the word failure only to describe experiences where you may not have reached your goal at that time. However, I do not believe it is failure, but I'll come back to this. I grew up playing all sports, but playing hockey was my primary passion. When I was 11 years old, I could finally try out to play for the competitive team. I ended up being cut from 3 separate tryouts and would end up playing house league or recreational hockey that year. What I learned in that year of hockey would always remain with me. My line mate for the year had a learning disability and had never been on skates before that year, but he was the happiest and most encouraging teammate I've ever met. I learned the value of treating everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of their ability. The following year, I was able to make the top competitive team. Then history would repeat itself. At age 12, I would again be cut from the top team, but would play competitively on the second tier team. The image you see on the screen is from that year of hockey. I would end up meeting one of my best friends playing on that team. I learned the value of embracing the experience that was in front of me. The following year, I was able to make the top competitive team. At age 13, I was again cut from the top team, but the minor team I played for ended up being one of my most favorite years of hockey. I had the most encouraging and positive coach who I still remain in contact with today. I also met some of my best friends who I will share a bond with for a lifetime. That year, I learned to believe in myself and would set many of my future goals. The following year, I would arrive at Stansted, excited for a new challenge and environment that would push me to be the best that I can be. I began with the third team and would move up to play on the prep team for the following 2 years. Although I would not be moving up to the varsity team, these years of hockey taught me many things, with the most important lesson of remaining focused and committed to my goals. To cycle back to the beginning, none of these experiences can be considered failures. They all taught me something. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down, there is always something to be learned and room to keep moving forward. When you believe in yourself and your abilities, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Whether it is a thirds player trying for the prep team, a grade 12 student applying to a top university, or a teacher seeking a higher role with more responsibilities, you can always get there, even if it takes falling down a few times or redirecting your pathway. You have the ability within you to reach your goals. In the end, it is you versus yourself. You have to be willing to accept the challenges and keep the determination to keep moving forward and to get what you want, and not to lose to yourself. I'm not going to leave you with a quote, but rather a short story to give you something to think about. Few of you may know what my mom does for work, but in short, she's a therapist and an athletics mental performance coach, meaning she works with athletes to strengthen the mental side of their sport. A perspective she introduced to me when I was just 10 years old was the battle between 2 wolves inside me. Here's the story. An old man is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside of me, he said to the little boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between 2 wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight was going on inside of you, and inside of every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old man simply replied, the one you feed. So I asked him, which wolf are you feeding? We always have a choice. Thank you.